Well, hey everybody, it's Chuck and Charlie and
Zack.
Charlie, who are you?
Son of the only Chuck Cook.
Okay. Zack, who are you?
I'm the fiance of Chuck Stuff.
Yes, that's my soon-to-be son-in-law. So this is a test. See if he can handle FSD. Yeah, of course he can. So we are still in Santa Rosa Beach here in the Gulf Coast of Florida, over in the Big Bend area up on the peninsula. And we're going to do another Christmas reaction cam video. The purpose of these is to let these guys see where FSD is on the Cybertruck, knowing that it's not as good as the Model Y. So Charlie's driving. He owns my Model 3 that we had before. It's on Hardware 3. So Charlie is a Hardware 3 Model Y owner. So maybe some of his comments will be in reference to that. But let's get going.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. Go ahead and hit and drive it. As soon as the steering wheel is available, once it cages, we'll engage. There it is. No, engage it now. It's available.
Now? All right.
Press that button right there.
Right there. Boom.
Now, if it goes left, okay, take it right. Yeah, it did that earlier with the girls. See that road's closed, so we got to go right. The Cybertruck can't reverse, so we need to not let it go towards the place where it needs to reverse. And as soon as we go straight on this turn, there you go, engage it there.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Oh wow, look what we got already.
It's just gonna stop.
No, it's gonna go around her.
Okay.
Watch the trajectory. It's gonna go slow.
A little left blinker too. It's like. Ooh.
There we go. Does that make you uncomfortable? You kind of made a noise.
So the only reason I'd be concerned there is the truck going that fast. At that point, I'm worried the person might like, ooh,
okay,
and like do something unpredictable. And then at that point, the truck's already going that fast, and I'm sure it could slam on it. But
yeah.
As the driver, that would make me a little uncomfortable in that situation.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I was comfortable with it, but you obviously
like if I was driving the car myself,
yeah,
I would have stopped there.
You would have stopped.
I would have stopped.
You wouldn't have gone way around?
No. Huh. Or if I did, I would have gone like ridiculously like walking slow.
Okay. All right. Let's see what happens here. So stop sign, one Jeep. This is easy peasy. Oh, you think it's going to go before the white truck or wait?
No, it's waiting. That guy's
it's going to wait. He is going fast. I agree with you. Now it's going to go right now.
It is a little nice every once in a while to check in on how it's doing, because most of so my car does have FSD, but
well, you're on 12.5.4.2.
4.2. Yep.
4.2. Yeah.
But my dad asks me all the time, like, oh, have you used FSD a lot recently? And I'm like, no, like, not really. Like, I will use it mostly on highway drives, like,
yeah.
So I'm in Pensacola right now, and they live in Jacksonville, so I'm going back to visit them. Clock it on I-10, just let it do its thing. But as far as like day-to-day driving, I mostly like driving the car myself. I get a lot of, I don't know. I like the car. I like driving the car. I like pushing the pedals. I like turning.
A lot of people like driving their Teslas. That's why they buy Teslas.
Exactly. So I don't use it nearly as much as my dad, but it is nice to check in on just how much progress has been made over the years.
Yeah. Like, so I see your foot is right on the pedal.
Oh yeah.
I don't drive like that anymore on 13, and I think you're going to know by the end of this drive why. Because I don't think, we're going to try to do about a half an hour before we get our dinner. I don't think you're going to have to touch the vehicle once until we get back to the house.
I'm ready though.
And I really hope, you're getting towards the evening hour, and I know there's going to be some glare and sun. I'm already squinting, and we do have a low budget camera set up for this drive, but what I want you to pay attention to is the behavior around pedestrians, the smoothness of the vehicle, the braking curves, and also just in your mind, could you be sitting where Zack is with no steering wheel and pedal, and could you consider yourself paying for this ride in the future if it was the same cost or cheaper than an Uber? Because when I drove with the girls earlier, my nieces, your cousins, one of their comments was, if I was able to get into an Uber without a driver and I didn't have to worry about who I was getting in the car with, it's a huge use case for young women to feel safe of a late night ride home or a drive somewhere.
I don't let Ellie Uber by herself for that reason, no.
Yeah. So I think that if we can solve autonomy, and I say we collectively as a society, not just Tesla, that there's a huge amount of people that would just want the comfort of being in a robot. Think of being in an elevator by yourself versus being in an elevator with someone. don't you much prefer an elevator ride by yourself? It's just sort of one of those things that you like, the awkward discomfort of being in someone else's space and then going somewhere. And maybe the elevator example is not perfect for that multi-person scenario, but how did that feel? Stop, smooth, green, go.
Perfect. Yep.
I mean, first of all, that was easy peasy. It was just a stoplight. We didn't see much there. But what I've noticed on V13, and if for you guys that don't know, so the V13 build versus Charlie, the build you have, is this truck, the Cybertruck, and the AI4 Model Y that we have at home, is using a new computer called AI4 and cameras that are 5 megapixels. The cameras on your car are 1.2 megapixels. So it's almost 4x the camera resolution. And the computer that can handle 8 cameras streaming live video at 36 hertz, which is more than 1 frame a second, at 5K. 5 megapixels, not 5K, 5 megapixels. It's a lot more data. And with that data, what I'm starting to feel is lower latency, better decision making, and smoother decisions just in every day. And as we go towards this little village here, and if you can see this little village here, guys, on the camera, it's just going to be one of these congested beach town roads that's going to have a lot of pedestrians, maybe a lot of traffic, and a lot of people looking for parking. If you can see on this map here, we're on the beach. The beach is right there. So this is your typical beach town road, Christmas road.
Oh yeah. This is something where even if I'm at the wheel, like I'm tensing up, and like especially in one of these larger cars, like a truck.
Yeah.
I'm like, watching the edges, watching the median,
right,
making sure nobody's jumping out and all that. Easy day, just a stop sign. Nice.
Yeah. And the speeds. So there's a couple profiles on here, and right now we're in the standard profile. Mm-hmm. If you took this knob here and clicked it left,
just like these sort of.
Yep, the left or right. Yep. You're gonna go click it. Just click it around. Yep. Let's see what happens here. Oh, look at this.
Yeah. Stop right there.
It completely sort of saw.
Baby check. Pass the baby check.
Look at it. Hey, it's a baby scooter. Look at that. Did that feel unnatural or dangerous at all? It was completely.
That was smooth. Yeah. That was
smooth and patient. Mm-hmm. And on the last drive, and I know I'm talking a lot, and this is a reaction cam video. In the last video, I got a comment. Chuck, you're talking a lot for reaction cam. And maybe I'll shut up after this, but one of the important things about an autonomous car with pedestrians and other vehicle is expressing intent through the vehicle's behavior. Rolling just a little bit so you can kind of crack into a pedestrian crosswalk, or stopping so the pedestrians can express their intent and you're not moving so they know you're going. Tell me if you see those things as we're driving. Zach, what does it feel like from the back?
The only thing that was a little uncomfortable so far was that the angle of the very first car that we drove past, the one that Charlie would have like slowed down for, I'm the same way.
Right outside.
I would have gone to almost a rolling stop practically.
Okay.
I mean, it had clearance. It was more than 6 inches, but it saw the opening and it just went.
So I want to say for that one right there with that parking situation, another thing I would have done a little differently than the car. So in the situation, I may be completely wrong, but so the car in front of us pulled around the parking car and went ahead, and the Cybertruck seemed to follow it straight behind it. In that situation, I would have waited to clear vision of the opposing lane before following that car.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we see any more examples of that. All right, I'm going to try to shut up, guys, because I just talk on this camera the whole time, because I don't like awkward silences unless I see something that I want you to notice. But if you guys can just chime in when you feel something, I think that is what the audience wants to hear rather than me.
4-way stop. Let's see. All right.
Ooh, with pedestrians.
With pedestrians.
Have you
bike? Cross. Okay.
Taken the Cybertruck to the 5-way at Roosevelt or the one in Atlantic Beach?
I've done 5 points. So it completely honored those pedestrians. And look at this. Expressing intent, they exerted it and it waited. They waved at us to say thank you, but they should have been thanking the robot.
I really liked that. That was good.
It wasn't like, stop. It was just...
Yeah. I remember like older versions of FSD that you used to drive would have been that like
aggressive braking.
Yeah. But that was exactly probably what I would have done in that situation. It's just easy. Okay,
yeah.
Are they going? Okay, they're going. Okay, stopped.
So Zach, the intersections you're talking about, are you talking about 5 points and then?
So I was talking about the one at Roosevelt by the train tracks. Or like when you go under Roosevelt on, is it Post?
Park,
yeah. The 5-way right there with the train station. And then in Atlantic Beach by the Atlantic Beach City Hall, there's a true 5-way with 5 stop signs.
Wow, okay.
5-way stop.
You know, there's a weird one in Ortega, actually, right by the Ortega Bridge. You know, right there where it's Ortega, Baltic,
where
Grand.
the shops are kind of like before the...
Yeah. There's a couple there too. 5-way stop signs are weird because it's like a 4-way with one extra angle stuck in there that's got a stop sign too.
Flashing.
Interesting. So they're not. Oh, look at this. Oh my
all the way?
God. They were not even exerting intent.
Wow. That was good. That was really good.
All right, Tesla. I'm going to clip that one out because that is a great example of the flashing lights, the truck, and even though those cyclists were not exerting intent.
I know drivers that would have gone straight through that. I know a lot of people that was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have because they did not look like they were trying to cross. So I would not, if I was driving, I wouldn't have felt like me continuing would have impeded their ability to cross when they were ready.
That was great. Wow. Now, that one actually surprised me a little bit because usually, and you know what the difference might have been was those yellow flashers, because normally on pedestrians it waits for them to kind of exert a little bit of I'm crossing or I'd like to cross. They were solid right there at the edge, but the Cybertruck completely yielded, and those flashing yellows could have been a little bit of a difference there.
I was wondering why we were going pretty slow, but this is a speed limit 35.
It's a 35, and we're actually going 41. Yeah.
This right now it's going down to 25. I was thinking this felt more like a 45.
Yeah, and this is another huge thing that started to change with these speed profiles, and we are in hurry mode. You can go back to standard if you want, but the point is that it's sort of trying to say, I'm in a hurry, and it's using flow of traffic, danger, and other sort of things to try to pick a speed that is perhaps representative. I'm going to go ahead and edit the trip here because we've got a route here, and I'm going to do that and done, and that should reroute us.
So I actually had a question because right there when we switched speed limit zones, we went from a 35 to a 25 zone, and the car remained at 40. So me as the driver, I would have stayed at 40, if not bumping up. Okay, green light. What are we doing here? Waiting on bike?
I think it was waiting on that bike.
Waiting on biker? Go.
Ooh. And this might have been me changing the route because I changed that route, and if we were taking a right, it probably would have been in the right lane. So even though
So did it just turn right and now it's gonna?
Well, because remember we added that other point, and honestly, it was probably in the wrong lane because I changed the destination when I did.
Okay.
But what it did was it did that right turn safely once it realized nobody was there. So now I'm going to completely edit this route because we've just kind of got a little janky trip in here. Now I'm deleting this, and now we're just going back, and now you get to see.
I was gonna do this.
What would you do? And look what
I'd like just.
Look what it's doing. One way, do not enter. So we know it can't read signs, so we're going, and let's go ahead and hit the report button up here, which is what Tesla has given me to report this. But you can see the planner said I can do this. Yeah. So this is what I would call a conflict of map data and vision data, right? The map data didn't say you can't go this way. And it just saw it as a road, even those little they felt like local signs, not like state signs, right? They weren't quite, I don't know. But I would argue that was a disengagement. That was a illegal maneuver in a safe, low-speed space.
Yeah.
But
then you get into a pickle if a car was coming the other way.
Yeah, but if this was a robotaxi and it did that, would it be the end of the world? I guess you could argue
It would have to learn how to get out of it.
How would it have handled oncoming traffic going the right way and all those sort of things? But I think that's great to see, because this shows the conflict of map data and the planner and the vision system that's just navigating roads and getting us safely where we wanted to go. It didn't do any dangerous feeling. It just went down a road that was marked the wrong way.
All right, left turn. But going back to what I was saying earlier. So we went from a 35 going 40 to a 25 going 40. But in that 25 zone, it did not seem like anybody was going 25. 25 is pretty slow for a road like that.
It's hard.
And so kind of, I was wondering what you think and maybe what they're kind of implementing on what is the balance in that situation versus a posted speed versus kind of getting to that point where it's the local, like, this is what everybody goes.
Well, let me show you what we can do here. So here's a 25, right? And let's see what it goes to. Obviously, it's yielding against that truck just fine. It's going 30. Got a couple pedestrians up here. Now, you see it's already speeding.
Yep.
What if you knew there was a speed trap around this bend and you didn't want to go 33 here? Scroll that wheel down, scroll it down. To see what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You now are giving it a new max.
Yep.
It is picking its own max based off of some settings over here in the autopilot panel we've got, and you just lowered the max. And now here we're going to go to 35, and it's going to reset the max. See that?
I scrolled the max back.
Yeah. So obviously without a driver, this is going to have to be automated.
But see, now we're stuck at 30.
So this is the hurry mode. Now granted, we were fiddling with the speeds and scrolling it up and down, so think of a neural network that's going to recage itself as to what the next speed is. You have two choices here. Let it catch up like it is. It's now at 32. Or if there was a driver right behind you, you could tap the accelerator and do that, for example. Just take it up to 38. So you're now inputting a bias into the neural network. And now it says, oh, I understand what you want. And now see how it's biasing up a little bit more. So you kind of just, I think of it as another input. And the next speed limit sign or the next pedestrian is going to completely readjust to its whatever the neural network thinks it ought to do in hurry mode for this speed limit. One thing I keep saying, and I keep filling these voids, is it's just so smooth, and I even kind of occasionally say, even the fuck-ups are smooth.
Yep.
It's just like...
They did not used to be smooth.
I mean, it went down the wrong one-way street as smooth as can be. It just, it's going to go around somebody maybe in a way you might not do it, but it's going to do it smoothly.
So, especially in these smaller communities where the map data is never going to be perfect, what would be an easier way to solve that one-way issue? Is it using, rather than a sign on the right, and in the future when most everything's automated, doing signs directly on the road and a unique identifier color that stops the car, or...
I think ultimately we need a crowdsourced model that Tesla can collect its own data rather than depending on government map data. So I think Tesla needs to get to the point where it can read. So interesting question, why did it slow down there? What did we see?
Well,
did it see a tighter road?
I like slowing down from 45, but not necessarily
Does
like
it
20.
just take in data from other drivers' behaviors? Like, was that the average of every driver that had come through? They see the
another cat.
They see the pedestrian, and then they see the stop sign immediately a block away. So even though there's no reason to, they just slow early.
It totally could have been. And there's a pedestrian in the meeting that's jaywalking.
It knows.
Look at this.
It knows.
Is he gonna stop?
Nope.
And she waved. If she had exerted a leg in the road, it would have stopped. But because she stopped, it didn't. So that's where that was different than that bike scenario with the flashing light. There's so many things going on here that I don't even know that I'm qualified to accurately say why it's doing it. Oh, look at this accelerator.
I'm tapping it.
Oh, you tapped it. Oh, you gotta talk out loud for the video when you do that. So Charlie's intervening for the video.
Yeah.
He hit the accelerator a little bit.
It's going right back down. I let go and it's going right back down.
I mean, this is a high traffic area, so I mean, it could sense that the average speed on this road at this given time is at the speed limit and not above it or below.
Yeah. I honestly think it's slowing down because of the narrowness, the busyness, and the amount of things that could be going on.
Yep.
All
right, take two.
On what? Pedestrians?
The crowded Christmas beach street.
Yeah.
This is
Pedestrian. First.
awesome, by the way.
Bam.
I did not see this earlier.
Oh.
When we drove.
Didn't even need to stop for them, but it just slowed down enough so they could cross the road.
Yeah, it
Looks like this
conveyed
guy's
the
trying to
intent
park.
of the vehicle to the pedestrian, let them know they could continue crossing.
Parking here, slows down. Stop sign. Do.
World famous
Here we
burger.
go. Would have done that exactly the same. And there we go. That one wasn't too tough. But, I mean,
Yeah, we didn't have much interaction there, but it's interesting to watch it use speeds well below the speed limit, but because of this congestion, the number of people around, I can't say why it's choosing 18. It might be feeding off of this truck in front of us.
I think it's the truck. I think that's.
But I don't think it would be going 33 here either, even if the truck wasn't there. It seems to take some inputs from the size of the street and the things going on around it somehow.
That's something I would do in these streets too. I remember when I was on a summer cruise in Coronado, and we got this big old truck in these narrow Coronado streets. I was going so slow just because I was like, am I about to clip my mirror on this car?
Yeah, and especially this is a big truck, right? And but it knows its boundaries pretty well. So we got another 1.3 miles, and that truck's starting to accelerate a little bit, but it's got a stoplight, so this is going to be pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it's just kind of keeping its distance with this truck.
Yeah.
With the speed for the most part. So, how different is the camera setup on the Cybertruck as compared to my Model Y?
Exactly the same.
So same field of views?
Just different resolution. These are 5 megapixels, and yours are 1.2 megapixels. Same locations on, and even the same with the Model Y at home. Same camera locations. Even though I disagree with the camera setup, I want cameras that look 90 degrees to the side, further forward than the B pillars, which are behind our heads.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we are on the current configuration.
Is that just a consistency thing as far as like the car taking data?
Did you guys see that?
Data from the Cybertruck?
What did you see?
No, there's that big old house over
Trump,
there.
banners.
Yeah.
They're 3-story banners.
3-story banners of Trump. That's pretty funny.
But is it for like consistency of data? So like
I
data
do
from
think
a
they're
Model
not
Y.
changing the configuration so that everything works forward. But I also I'm not sure. I to me they should have moved them further forward, but the team seems very, very solid in their decision on their current camera location is adequate. I think most of them would say, yeah, we could make it better, but there may be some cost benefit to changing the positions for their fleet, because they've now got millions of cars in the fleet, and that change can be expensive.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Looks like we're kind of just keeping distance here. The speed.
Yep, right at the speed limit. Even though we're in hurry mode, there's no reason to hurry. The car in front of us isn't going any faster.
Oh, there's a golf cart right ahead of him.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow. Some bikes. Okay.
Easy peasy. We got one kind of a forward-facing unprotected left to go here at about 0.3 miles, and then interesting, look at the golf cart. Oh, I thought he was making room for that other car to pass. Oh, actually they were pulling over to let the cars pass. Interesting.
I mean, I think when there is a dedicated golf cart path, that is the correct thing to do if you choose to ride in the street.
Well,
yeah. They probably should have been over
I don't
there.
think they're allowed. That's like a sidewalk. It's
Ah,
like it's
yeah.
like the sidewalk and.
So at least the ones in Jacksonville that are of that size are traditionally designed for golf carts. They have them all down
Interesting.
Hodges for like Glen Kern and everyone taking their golf cart
Yeah.
to Jack's Golfing Country.
Okay. Just reminds me of all the signs of like no scooters allowed on the sidewalks with all like the limit scooters.
That's always been such an issue in beach towns. What is a vehicle that is qualified for the open road and what is not. Because you get the scooters that top out at 40 miles an hour that are fine, and so you have to take it over the Beach Boulevard Bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, as we roll in here to the final street, there's not much left. What did you guys think?
Easy A performance. Smooth. So much smooth. I think that's my biggest takeaway here, is that my former memories of FSD were of kind of jittery reactions of another cat.
Another cat! Oh, and the screen saw it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
The cats are everywhere.
It's the cats. But jittery was what I would always describe it as, because when you get in a situation where the car didn't understand where it was like, oh, I'm doing this. And not a single time this drive did ever feel like it was doing that way. Even when it was unsure, it was like, okay, let me get more information, let me figure this out. Okay, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It was much more methodical and slow in what it did. And like you described, that profile on the brakes, getting information like the lights with the bikers.
Yeah.
Let me gather the information. Okay, they're going. I'm stopping.
Nice.
No, I'm going. So.
What about from the back, Zach? What'd you think?
No, I mean, I think that one example was key. The vehicle was able to communicate its intent to the people on the side of the road, who then took that cue to just go ahead and cross. Whether they were going to do that before or not, it's kind of cool to see the software communicate with somebody not at all in the vehicle.
It doesn't even know.
That has no idea that they were interacting with the Cybertruck and not with Charlie, the driver. I thought that was awesome.
Could you see yourself in the back of a vehicle driving that smoothly without a driver or a steering wheel or a pedal?
Literally outside of that first jettison where it cut close to, if you had told me Charlie was driving the entire time, I would have believed you.
Yeah. Would you pay for a ride like that in the future? Granted, it's got a long way to go to get better, but, I mean, can you see it now?
Oh, I drive to work 45 minutes every day. I would love that. I mean, I'd be on my computer. I'd be able to work the entire time.
Yeah.
I'd say in the future, yeah.
I mean, seeing it is the most important thing. We're not there yet, but just saying, holy smokes.
Well, and there's countless studies that say that your happiness is inversely correlated with the amount of time you spend on the road.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Commuting to and from work. No, it's a serious thing, and I think this is a big step in the right direction.
I honestly believe, even in the driver's seat supervising this, the fact you're not worrying about every single almost rear end accident you could have, you're completely more relaxed and much less stressed just driving in traffic. But many cars have that sort of lane keeping and sort of stuff these days, so that's not novel. But the fact that it's doing everything from start to finish now, I think is revolutionary, and it's doing it so smooth.
What I'm kind of remembering most right now is kind of when you were still doing the videos out of my current car, and just kind of the beginning of your channel and all of that, and how just fundamentally different it feels now than when it did then. Back then, it kind of still felt like a almost, I don't want to say gimmicky, but like, whoa, the car drives itself. Unless you get in this situation, this situation, this situation, this situation, this situation.
Yeah.
But now that list of situations is so small, it feels like you truly could just. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys. This is awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Merry Christmas. See you next time. Bye-bye.